This video is brought to you by EvoClub Car Wash. Our motto is service and solutions. You can bring your car to us for deep cleaning, shining, full-on restoration, or just a regular wash. Whatever it is you need help sorting out on your car, we are more than happy to assist. To get in touch with us, drop us a line on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp us on the number on your screen now. Okay guys, so recently we reviewed the Mercedes-Benz EQA. So right now in this video we jump into something similar but not quite the same. This is the petrol-powered Mercedes-AMG GLA 35. So as I mentioned in my review of the EQA basically is an EV built off the GLA platform. Although from what you can see here, the GLA sports a very much different front fascia compared to that of the EQA. And here in the GLA 35, it gets a more aggressive treatment. You get this, what Mercedes calls the Pan Americana grille. All right, that has vertical slats, all right, and of course still with the large central mounted three-pointed star. And contrast against the EQA, the GLA's headlights, it narrows inwards, whereas the EQA's headlights widens inwards, all right, and it is visually separate from the grille. Okay, so here the front bumper has a more aggressive treatment. Okay, so you can see these two slats here are very pronounced. It's almost looking as if as a knife that is cutting through the air as the car moves forward. The bonnet, okay, has these two power bulges, sort of like a tribute to the Mercedes V8 models. But even though this is a transverse engine, even the EQA also has it as well. All right, as I've mentioned, also the bonnet here, this line as well as this bumper cut line is exactly the same, right? Whether it's here or the EQA, it's just that the EQA, where this part is concerned, it gets a slightly different treatment. All right, so over here you get these nice 20-inch matte black AMG alloy wheels, big disc brakes filling it inside, and they are thick too, guys. Look at that. The thickness of those discs, wow, it looks properly beefy. Okay, and of course the GLA being a crossover model, you get the underbody claddings, okay, to give it that raised right height visual. And but of course here they also put the satin chrome treatment there as well to give it that extra touch of class. Then here you can come to the back. So the tail lights, as we say here, this is the same tail lights as you get with the EQA, but the difference is that here in the GLA it's visually separate, whereas in the EQA they have a long strip that joins the middle. The number plate is now mounted back on the tailgate as opposed to the bumper on the EQA. The lower bumper treatment is also quite intricate. You've got these diffuser elements with two singular exhaust pipes. Fake vents here at the side, all right, to just give the extra edge to its design. All right, so let's check out the luggage space. So as mentioned in my EQA video, boot space is different between the EQA and the GLA. GLA has bigger boot because it doesn't have to carry batteries, and so it would show, because under here there is a much bigger luggage compartment. Okay, there's no strut or notch to hold the floor up here in place, but underneath here they store quite a few items here underneath. They've got the tire compressor, you've got the amp as well, and those various little, like, you know, safety jackets. There's a safety triangle underneath there. Okay, but you do have the option of a split level, so you can drop the floor to give you extra space, extra volume. All right, whereas up here, I believe at the higher level, it is almost exactly the same boot space as available in the EQA, because now I bring this back up, right, just about light enough to do it in one hand. So now I bring this back up and I come here, fold the seat down, and you get the same seamless connection with the boot floor as we saw in the EQA. And just as in the EQA, you've got this slot here to put in the seatbelt buckle so as not to interfere when you fold it back up. No armrest here in the GLA 35. That's surprising. They had it in the EQA. As I mentioned also in my EQA video, the EQA's floor is higher, so your legs will have to be raised a bit compared to here. 170 centimeters tall. I've got a fist of headroom above me, and down here my legs are in a straighter, more upright position. Thigh support also feels better than it is in the EQA, because I don't have to, like, raise my leg thighs up so high. Okay, but otherwise everything else here is the same as per what I saw in the EQA, of course with slightly different color schemes. Okay, we're not going to waste too much talking about things like the door cards and whatnot. Instead, what we will do from here, we'll get in, start the engine. The instrument cluster is basically the same architecture as we saw in the EQA, just that some of the features here are different. So we're going to explore that. Okay, so now firstly on this more aggressive AMG steering wheel, you have the drive mode selection here. You can choose between comfort, sport plus, all right, or you can rotate back to individual, snow, okay, for slippery driving conditions. Now over here you can individually set. So let's say right now I'm in comfort mode, right? I can set, okay, the suspension to sport plus, or comfort, or I can set the transmission. Okay, this is set to manual or drive. Okay, over here now, same as in the EQA, you got wireless charger, you've got cup holders here, but more to the attention, what I'm going to bring you guys to see are the functions here. So here is another button. Okay, so this is repeated, the function is repeated. So you've got this button here to choose to adjust your suspension setting, and this button here to activate the manual gear selection. All right, so yeah, up here you can also wait, let me just look at the performance. So what do we have here? So you have vehicle, engine, consumption, dynamic select. Now I'm going to go and check out the individual configuration first. All right, so you can adjust engine drive, transmission characteristics, the suspension. All right, what's dynamics and suspension? Dynamics probably will be the brakes and steering and suspension itself. So dynamics, basic, advanced. Okay, so these are the few things that that when you adjust the driving mode, these are the parameters that that the car takes care of. Okay, now also let me just check out the assistance systems available here. You've got lane keep assist, active brake assist, attention assist, blind spot assist. You've got a sportier looking heads-up display. Okay, just a simple speedometer and tachometer display. Okay, and here, well, this is the classic instrument cluster appearance. Let's see if we can change that a bit. All right, so system, styles and display. So we've got sport, we've got super sport. What is super sport? Oh wow, okay. And ambient lighting adjustment, we've got classic and whatnot. All right, so basically this is almost exactly the same cabin design as we saw earlier in the EQA, just given a more sporty flavor in comparison. Okay, so let's also look closer at this cluster. So you can see here, right, here's the cruise control cluster, and there's only, you can set the speed, all right, or set it to speed limiter, but crucially here, it does not have adaptive cruise control. But compared to the EQA, which has only a reverse camera, this guy here has a 360-degree camera, which I shall show. All right, and I've said, and I couldn't say this enough times, Mercedes really gives you the best 360-degree cameras in the business, because not only are the images sharp, the stitching of images is just seamless. These are without doubt this is without doubt the best 360-degree camera in the business. BMW's 360-degree camera gives you more variety in terms of the way you can rotate the wheels and all that in a 3D fashion, but in terms of ease of comprehension of the image, the Mercedes one, it's just superior when it comes to ease of us perceiving the image on the screen. Now, honestly, I have to admit, I have never been a big fan of the Mercedes MFA family of cars, the A-Class, GLA, CLA. Never been a fan of them. Always thought that they were more style than they had much substance. And this is especially true of the first generation models, because my experience with the previous Gen A-Class, CLA, GLA is that yes, beautiful cars, nicely designed, very stylish cars, but cramped inside, not even particularly well built. Engines were distinctly so-so, uncomfortable to ride, and they don't even handle well for all that sacrifice. So basically, you are making a lot of compromises for not very satisfactory gains. Now, of course, it's quite different when AMG puts their magic touch to it, and your A45s, your GLA 45s, your CLA 45s are absolute riot to drive, right? They are still unfeasibly harsh when it comes to their suspension setup, but the thing is that they dialed up the madness to 11, that that those cars suddenly become bonkers. They become a riot to drive. They captured the attention of people who would otherwise, a generation ago, went to the Evos and the WRXs. All right, that same group of buyers, that demographic that used to go for Evos and WRXs, went for Mercedes-AMG 45s. Right, it's just a question of whether it's the GLA, CLA, or just the A-Class. Now, in this second generation MFA platform, my more recent experience was that they are much improved. Mercedes evidently took all the criticism that we gave on the previous cars to heart. They made the cars better. They built the cars better, right? And the driving experience, although still not as it's still not as sporty as Mercedes claims to be, let's put it that way. But the sacrifice in ride comfort is much less. All right, the engines, well, are less. The previous Gen A-Class, I remember the engine had very, very severe lag. This one, even in the A200, A250, the engines drive well enough. Okay, responds well enough. Here in the A35, it's good. It's absurdly good. And of course, if you go to the EQA, that really is what it epitomizes what we traditionally expect of a Mercedes-Benz, namely a car that is quiet, serene, yet effortlessly powerful. The A35 here, of course, is it's new school Mercedes, so it is still edgy. It is still it can be a bit harsh, but if you were to compare this with the previous gen MFA cars, this one actually, I would say, feels properly tuned. The suspension, yes, you feel it is firm, but but when we take it over bad patches of road, we can feel that Mercedes have trimmed off all the rough edges. So you see, when you go over undulations, yes, the body follows the movements of the road, but you know, the suspension does just enough to filter out the sharp edges, and that makes for the overall ride and handling so much more bearable on a day-to-day basis. All right, this, if you compare the GLA 35 here versus, say, a previous gen A250, no question, this is the better daily car by a mile. All right, I remember when I tested the even the A180 of the previous generation, I was like, wow, this is ridiculously harsh, but I have no such complaints here in the A35. It is firm, but it's livable. It is a livable setup. Okay, so now I'm driving this in traffic jam conditions, and well, in comfort mode, the throttle modulation, the brake pedal modulation, all sensible enough for this car to not feel tiresome to drive in a jam. All right, some cars, some performance-oriented cars, when you drive it in heavy traffic, it can be a bit tiring, right? A bit demanding. But here, no. This guy here has just about enough of a duality in its character that you can take this on a harsh whack, or you can just drive it around at a sedate pace. Unlike, say, the previous gen, you know, whatever A45s, you have to. It feels as if you have to drive those cars on the edge at all times. This one, no. This one, you can push it hard, but at the same time, if you just want to potter around, it's a perfectly capable companion of doing so. Now, the other thing I have to say is that, coming back to the styling, one thing I noticed is that it does not. Okay, of course, there's still the GLA 45 higher up the rungs, but here in the GLA 35, the AMG enhanced cosmetics are more subtle. They are more restrained, and therefore this car, it's not as shouty, as visually loud as the as the 45s, and that to some may be more appealing, because some of us, we just want to wheel a big stick and not be showy about it. Now I am going to take a sharp bend. All right, foot on the throttle, gun it. There's a mid-corner disturbance, and the car took it well enough. All right, there are some recent Mercedes cars that when I gun it, oh my god, open stretch of road, the engine comes to life. So if you're wondering whether is it okay to settle for this over the GLA 45, I think this car is by no means slow. I mean, come on, man, 300 horsepower driving a pocket rocket like this may not be the most powerful in the range, but it's still plenty fast enough. And the delivery of power is, one, it's instantaneous, and two, it is relentless. And it's still, you know, darty. It is a great car for you to quickly blast your way through point and shoot traffic. And AMG isn't without the proper sounding engine. So let's find the stretch of road, and AMG certainly knows how to make engines that entertain. This may not be the most powerful powerful 2-liter turbo in their arsenal, but they know how to make engine sounds that tingle the senses. And I have no doubts, say the X2 M35 would probably handle better than this, but in terms of the sheer entertainment value, you can always count on Mercedes-AMG to deliver. See, the thing is that this car is fast, but it doesn't feel overwhelmingly fast. It doesn't feel tiresomely fast. You know, it's like, it is just a very effective point and shoot. You know, from you want to go zop, 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 right? You see gaps, you just gun for it, and it helps that they give you a pleasant soundtrack to accompany all the drama. So, concluding thoughts of the GLA 35. Well, I think this is not a bad car. It's a decently entertaining enough package, but at the same time, it has just about enough civility in it that you can use this for your day-to-day driving. You know, as an entertaining workhorse, if you like. Maybe a bit small for family duties, but you know, for regular commutes, well, it's nice. I mean, what it means is that you can have a bit of utility factor in this car, but you know, you have that bit of entertainment as well as you go through the demands, the rigors of your day-to-day life. So, do I recommend buying this? Absolutely. I mean, I totally don't discourage it, because if you are looking for a compact, you know, hatchback or crossover, and you know, you want something with about 300 horsepower at this price range, I can't think of a better alternative. Because if you want to go for a 45, well, that's another big jump in price. The closest alternative in performance and capability terms that I can think of would be the Volkswagen Golf R. But I would say that Volkswagen Golf Rs generally in their execution are very clinical. I have no doubts that the Golf R would be a faster car than this, but I would say that when it comes to delivering entertainment on the road, you can't go wrong putting your money down on a Mercedes-AMG with 2 digits on its badge.